Well, good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for a few minutes of your time this morning. We do get together on a daily basis, Mondays through Fridays at 8 o'clock Central, to review the Startup Business Funding Package to help you understand what it is, how it works, and how you might benefit from it. So we want this to be very interactive. At any point, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can type those into the Q&A, the question and answer box of Zoom. It's kind of like a chat box. So you can see that I'm navigating from www.chapmanloanprogram.org. So this is the resource page that you could go to get further information, and I'll show you what's available. We work together with a group of SBA advisors, score mentors, business bankers, and others to solve a problem. And the problem that we're solving is helping entrepreneurs have a credible business to get funding to start, or frankly, even funding to grow. There's lots of entrepreneurs that want and need money, but what often is missing is that they're not credible. The business is not credible. We're not talking about the person, not the individual, but in many cases, the business isn't credible. This is a turnkey approach to creating a credible business. Now, you might ask, well, what's included with that? And thus, what does it take to have a credible business? And that is laid out very clearly here in writing, which we'll go through briefly, but also there's a training video available for you on this page, again, on chapmanloanprogram.org. So the very first thing that we do in this grant-subsidized program called the Startup Business Funding Package is to create a unique commercial business address. You might say, well, why does that matter? It makes all the difference in the world. To have a residential, a home address, to have a post office box, or to even have a shared office address like a WeWork or a Regus is flawed. That typically does not meet the underwriting requirements that lenders have, especially for larger business loans. And that's really what we're doing here, is legally and ethically building a platform so your business is compliant with the underwriting terms so we can get funding. And in fact, lots of funding. It does start with this first bullet of having a good, unique business address, not a shared address. Now, in terms of if you already have an entity formed, we could either help you address the deficiency if it's not a good address, or we could just hit the restart button, enroll you in the Startup Business Funding Package, leave the prior entity alone, and create a new entity designed for the capital raise. So once we have a business address, now we need to go ahead and file with the Secretary of State. And I didn't mention, but should have, these are free services, by the way. So through the grant, we'll actually cover the filing fees through the Secretary of State. So you don't have to pay for that. Then we need to move on and obtain your EIN. So that's the equivalent of the Social Security number that a person has. The EIN is the unique identifier for a business. So then once we have the address, then we form the entity, then we get the EIN. What's not listed here is after the EIN is obtained, then we'll open the business bank account. So then at this point, now we're ready to strengthen the credit profile of the business. And you'll notice I continue to make reference to the business. We're not talking about the individual. We're talking about having a strong business so we can get business funding. So you might ask, well, how do you go about building business credit? So under the EIN of the business, not under the Social Security number of the business owner, what we're going to do is add primary trade lines, multiple trade lines. Our primary goal is to build your business's PAYDEX score, which is the scoring mechanism from Dun & Bradstreet, and your Intella score, which is the scoring mechanism under Experian Business. You're going to start out with very poor or failing scores. We're going to add primary trade lines for free and then get you up to at least an 80, because business credit scores go from 0 to 100. We don't need to be perfect. We want to be at least to an 80. So that's the fourth thing that we're going to do. The fifth thing that we're going to do is we're going to transfer over. Now, the truth is this happens almost immediately. It's not after all these other events. But what we're going to also provide is literally $10,000 to put into your business. We used to call this the quick cash program. So we're literally transferring $10,000 of receivables over. We'll help you post that on the balance sheet of your business. And if you don't have a balance sheet, we'll help you get that set up. That's important to be credible for funding. And then we turn around and help you liquidate the receivables. So this provides collateral for funding, which is needed. And then it turns out and provides cash flow as we're liquidating the receivables into cash. One of the great benefits of our model, our approach, and the grant we received is because of where we set up your business through the Startup Business Funding Package, it does qualify. Geographic access to the Chapman Fund. The Chapman Fund, if you're not familiar with it, is from a taxing authority. So it's money that's been set aside. It's there for starting and growing small businesses in that taxing district. And so again, of course, we create the entity in that taxing district. The Chapman Fund has many benefits. It has very liberal use. It's relatively easy to get. But the problem is it has a hard cap at $250,000. So if you're needing more than $250,000, we could use this as a first tranche, but the Chapman Fund itself does cap out at $250,000. So the bottom line is we're here to help you get your business positioned for funding. And of course, there's no risk. If you wanted to see if you qualify, you'd like to participate, there's just a simple two-step process, which is identified here, if I could highlight it, on the page. Step one, there's a brief training video we'd like you to watch. Now, there's no registration for it, so if you skip that step, truth is we wouldn't know the difference, but that is the requested first step, and then right here you can enroll. Crazy simple. Now, if you were referred to us by one of our referral partners, you can actually go back to them and they can help you get set up. So be sure to follow up with them if you were referred to us by one of our referral partners. Before we end our brief call today, there are some other resources I want to make sure that you're aware of. The first resource, frankly, is a duplicate. This is where you would enroll, and it's the same as step 2 here. So it's just a duplicate spot to make it convenient for you. If you're looking for financing, what we can do is we can actually create financing offers for you. There's no hard inquiries and obviously no upfront cost, and we can actually get financing offers for you through a consortium of lenders that we work with, about 40 different lenders. And so that's what the relevance of the second item here under resources is. The third, if you'd like to learn even more about how the Startup Business Funding Package works, look at different types of funding, because the Chapman Fund is a great one, of course, but frankly, there's a lot of other types of funding resources available. And if you wanted to see some of the recent success stories that our lending partners have issued, you can watch it here on this third link. And then we do have a great referral program. So if you're interested in getting paid to help others, you can become a distribution partner, and that is the fourth link. So in summary, ChapmanLoanProgram.org is where I've been navigating for the past 10 minutes. We've briefly gone through this great value proposition of the program. We've shown you how easy it is to see if you qualify to participate by completing those 2 steps. Of course, the training videos here. We've also outlined 4 different resources that are available for you. Does anyone have any questions today that I can assist you with? We are now holding this informational webinar Mondays through Fridays at 8 o'clock Central. So normally it's 15 minutes or less. You're welcome to come back and join us for another session. You're welcome to bring others. And if you become a distribution partner, then you're actually paid for each entrepreneur that you plug in to the Startup Business Funding Package. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything that any of you need to know from our conversation today? Anything that we didn't cover? We've clearly addressed what's included. All of that, of course, is in writing in the enrollment form. We do confirm that we're going to transfer the $10,000 to you. That's not fuzzy or gray. And again, that's documented in the enrollment. We've got the other resources that are here. Any questions, comments, concerns that anyone has? If not, I encourage you to go ahead and visit the site, chapmanloanprogram.org, and go ahead and give it a try. No risk to you. You can get enrolled. If you're interested in becoming a distribution partner, you're welcome to do that right here. If one of our distribution partners, in fact, invited you to our informational Zoom webinar today, feel free to follow up with that referral partner. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll see you back Monday morning if you have other questions. But between now and then, just simply go to chapmanloanprogram.org and you're able to get plugged in very easily. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.